Hey, what's up, guys? It's Eric Nelsen. I play Ennis in 1883. We are premiering Sunday on Paramount Plus, so we hope to see you there. And I'm here in the Man Cave Chronicles podcast with Elias.
Eric, welcome to the cave.
Hey, brother, I'm happy to be here, man.
That's right. Before we start this interview, I want to say congrats, man. You've had a great career so far. All the research I was doing on you, man, it's like you're just keep going up to the top.
Well, thanks for that. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun journey and a fun ride, and I'm really happy to be where I am today. And we're just gonna keep the ball rolling, hopefully.
Right. I think you got an Emmy, Tony Award winning like nominations, something like that. Like, what's next for you? Oscar someday?
Maybe. I mean, God willing, right? But yeah, I've been fortunate enough, got a couple Emmys, and this year just got a Tony to add to it. So it's just, I mean, some days I feel like I'm still dreaming, and I'm going to be waking up here one day.
So how did you decide this is what you wanted to get into? Like, I know you from West Palm. How did you end up in the acting, like in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, man. So it was almost a right place, right time kind of thing. I was in South Florida, West Palm Beach, and I actually was at a local dance studio. I was taking some dance classes, some acting classes, and some singing classes. And at a competition locally in Florida, my little brother was doing the same thing. He actually got scouted. They were casting Chip in Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. And he was just, I mean, little guy, like 5 years old, maybe 6. So they flew us up there for him to audition because they saw us at this competition, and he ended up getting the job. So we went to New York, and one thing kind of rolled into the next. And I got with an agent at the time right away, and I started auditioning, and it was like my first audition ever going out on iBooked. And so I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. And as a kid, I didn't really think too much about it. It just seemed like a really fun hobby. There was no pressure of career or anything like that. And one thing led to the next, and here I am, 17 years later, still doing it, and approach it a little bit differently. The love is still, of course, completely there. But there was one day as I got a little older, I'm like, okay, I think this is going to be my career, and I'm going to make this my life choice. And I didn't realize you could have so much fun working, but I'm glad that it all kind of lended itself to where I am today. So it's just a lot, unexpected but incredible journey.
But you've also worked behind the scenes also.
Yeah, and producing and all that as well, which has been a blast. Kind of got into that with my wife because we were tired of, between acting jobs, you sit around and wait for the next one. And we wanted to fill that space between bookings back then. And so we were like, let's just make our own stuff. We know the people, we know how to do it. Let's just do it. And so we started producing, and we fell in love with that, because the greatest part about producing is you get to kind of be the boss, and you get to run the ship how you want it to run. And in that case, in our case, we just hire all our best friends to do our work. So it's, nothing better than working with your friends on something that you love, right? So we cast our friends in our projects, and it's been the recipe for success, I guess, and at least in our case, for fun.
What do you enjoy more now, behind the scenes or the acting still?
The acting is always going to be my heart and soul. The producing side of it fills a void in me that is nice to fill. I do enjoy being a part of the creative process of bringing a project together, not just showing up as an actor and reading your lines, but really having your hand and getting it to that place, which is always exciting. But, when I'm in front of a camera and working on a role, that's when I'm thriving. So acting is definitely going to always be my number one thing.
You mentioned the roles, you've worked like, The Bay, The Affair, you've done soap opera. What's been like your like out of all those projects you've done, not counting 1883, because who knows, this might be your favorite role to this day now, but what's been like your favorite project you've worked on?
Well, you're not going to let me say the answer I wanted to. 1883, hands down.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's really hard to choose because you pour your heart and soul into every job, and there are moments throughout each that really change and mold your career and mold who you are. And so I've learned and grown so much from every single job that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of. Um, um, it's a tough one to say. Um, long standing jobs are always great because you really become a family. Like on the Bay, for instance, like to me that is family. We've been working on that for so many seasons now, and those guys are much more than just co-stars and colleagues. They truly are my brothers. So that's special, and you don't always get that on set because a lot of the times you're in there for a couple months and then you're gone. But in the case of the Bay, and all my children, and couple of the plays and musicals I was able to do in New York. Like when you're with these people for months and maybe in years and years, it really becomes more than a job. It becomes a your lifestyle and your family for all intents and purposes. So those jobs have definitely stood out in terms of holding a place in my heart because of that.
And you mentioned like family and everything and like the culture of some shows that you've worked on. It's like, and you enjoy going to work because of that too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They have your back, and they've got your best interest, and nobody wants to see anybody fail. Everybody's trying to get the best out of everybody, because if I do well, you're going to do well, and we're all going to look well on, look good on TV. So, it's very much a family oriented vibe. And, we try to leave egos at the door, and, we don't deal with any of that sort of stuff. We just kind of, get right to the fun stuff. The reason why we're all in this industry, and that's to enjoy what we're doing. So it's evident on shows like that.
Let's talk about 1883. I was watching videos over the weekend, the premiere and everything. Did you get any sleep?
No, man. I haven't gotten much sleep in the last 5 months, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We've been going pretty hard since the very first week of August. Started with a 3-week cowboy camp. I got an extra week. It was supposed to be a 2-week camp, but I was already in Fort Worth, Texas, where we started shooting. And so Taylor Sheridan was like, "Hey, come out to my house, come out to my ranch a week early. Let's start doing this thing." And then for the next 3 weeks, riding horses all day, roping cattle, shooting guns, basically learning every single thing cowboy. So by the time we started filming, I wasn't pretending like I knew what I was doing. I truly felt as authentically cowboy as I could going into that, because Taylor gave us the gift of 3 weeks of insane prep that you would never otherwise get as an actor on other shows. So I'm very grateful for it. And, hopefully the hard work shows off, and the real cowboys watching out there maybe might tip their hat to me, I hope.
How does it feel? Like every kid growing up, at one point when we're young, we want to be a cowboy. You get to play one now on TV.
That's what I tell people, man. I'm like, the little boy inside me is screaming every single day. I put the chaps on, I put the guns in my holsters, I put the hat on, and I get on my horse. And, my character Ennis probably spends 75 to 80% of the show on his horse.
Wow.
So very, very close connection to my horse, Jake, on the show. And, I'm living out the little boy fantasy that, when I was little, that's all I said. I wanted to be a cowboy, cowboy or an astronaut. And the cowboy one came true. So it's been a dream. It really has. And I'm, sad to see season 1 coming to an end here soon. But so excited for it to live on TV here in less than a week.
That's right. So for the listeners and viewers, 1883 is a prequel to Yellowstone. Now tell us about your audition. Is this what you originally went for?
No, actually, that's funny.
Wow.
You asked that. So yeah, this is the prequel to Yellowstone, which we all know and love. Incredible series. But when I got the audition for 1883, it showed who was involved, producing wise, directing wise. Taylor Sheridan was listed, of course. And so it didn't take me long to put it together that this was the prequel to Yellowstone. And originally I auditioned for the role of Wade. Okay. I sent in my tape. They wrote back almost instantly and said, "Okay, awesome, great work, but we like him for Ennis. Please have him retape for Ennis." So then I sent in another tape for Ennis, and it was like that same day they wrote right back. They're like, "Love him, let's pin him, please don't take any other offers, and let us know if something comes up, because we really want to work together. And we're going to circle back with you soon. So it all happened very quickly, which typically on a show of this size and a process to cast a show from the start, it takes a long time. So the fact that it happened so quick and they responded so immediate to my stuff made me feel really good. But then I sat on it for a month or two before they finalized decisions. And so, that's when your head starts spinning and you think things aren't going to go your way. And, you don't know why you haven't officially heard. And then out of the blue, one day I get a call from Taylor Sheridan, and on my personal cell phone, and he's talking to me, and by the end of the conversation, he's like, we're starting this thing in a couple weeks, and we really look forward to having you. And so to kind of hear it from him firsthand was pretty incredible. From that moment on, I've just been eternally grateful for that man, and he's done nothing but show me kindness, and really been such a great leader on this whole thing.
That's awesome. Now, without giving us some spoilers and everything, how would you describe this character, and what did you love about him?
Well, I mean, through and through, Ennis is a cowboy, so right away I love that about him. He's incredibly gifted at his craft and his skill, and the Duttons actually hire him to help them on their journey across the country to get up to where Yellowstone is. So they need me, and they need Wade. Wade's my counterpart on the show. We're the two cowboys that really, they utilize our skills to help them. And can also tease a little bit, because on Yellowstone yesterday, they showed a little behind the scenes of 1883, and they showed my character Ennis and the lead girl Elsa kind of getting a little romantically involved. And so the fans can look forward to that storyline. And Tim McGraw's character, who is Elsa's father, and I have a lot of friction, because he's one proud papa of his daughter, and he doesn't want to see some cowboy messing up her life. So, we've got a good little triangle going on there.
How was it working with the cast? Because there's a wonderful cast on this also.
It was absolutely incredible. I mean, every day I walked the set and I saw my cast chair sitting next to Sam Elliott's or Tim McGraw's or, all the rest of them. It's just, I couldn't take a single second of this job for granted. And I was truly wholeheartedly just living every second I could on this set in awe, and in just, I feel like it's a dream. I mean, these people I've idolized my whole life. So to be sharing not only the screen with them, but, the last 5 months, all day, every day with them, to get to know them so personally. And, they're everything you would have hoped they would be, the most giving, kind, wholehearted individual. So from beginning to end, it's been the best, man.
So you mentioned 5 months, 10 episodes, I assume we're going to see?
Yes, sir. Yep. 10 episodes. And we filmed most of it in Texas, and then we got to shoot some of it in Montana as well.
Oh, wow. So how long did it average to make one episode? And I know you mentioned 5 months, but an average, how many days for one episode?
It's interesting because we block shot this. So we didn't shoot it in order. Okay. We kind of shoot some of episode 2 here, some of episode 5 here. So it's hard to say how many days it kind of landed on. So I don't know how to answer that question, but I will say that 90% of it is outside exterior shots in Texas, in Montana. So the environment played a big part in production. I think the landscape is as big of a role as any of us actors are. So, we're constantly battling weather. We're constantly battling animals. We're working with cattle and horses all day, every day, and there's days these animals don't want to do what you want them to do. So you've got to find ways around that, or you've got to just, kind of adapt and figure out a new game plan. So that always made things interesting and kept you on your toes. And, at times pushed us back a little bit, just because naturally, if it's, there's a storm going on and we're not supposed to be filming storm, we gotta shift.
Yeah. How do you prepare to play? If they say you're reporting clips of or scenes from like episode 1, and now you got to go to episode 7. Like, how do you like prepare to like learn those lines, or are you just learning the whole script by then?
A lot of work, a lot of focus. I worked immensely with a wonderful acting coach, Josh Barron, out of LA, and I would call him before, before days, and just be like, let's focus up on where we are in the arc of our story. Help me. We did all the work before, and then as we got into the filming part, we kind of refresh depending on where we were in the story. And for me, that was the most helpful thing, is to have somebody else and I be able to, flush it out together and remind myself where I am in the story. And it makes it a little more challenging for the actor to do it that way, but it also makes it a lot more exhilarating because there's for no second can you relax into your role, because you're constantly changing. As I am in episode 1, it's going to be a different person than I was in episode 5. So I had to constantly be on top of my emotional arc and overall objective in the show.
Were you able to do any of your own stunts? Because I assume this show's full of that kind of stuff too.
Oh yeah, man. Taylor's all about authenticity. So we've got stunt doubles, but he wants his actors doing almost all of them. Very rarely did I have to use my stunt double. And there are times when, we're on horseback pushing 150 cattle through a high intensity, fast current river in Texas. And, to get a horse to swim across the river is one challenge, but now swim across on a horse pushing a bunch of cattle along the way, and wagons and all the rest of the stuff, it added just elements of danger and thrill. And so a lot of the times, when our characters are doing these things, the acting is 100% genuine and real, because we're actually doing it. The emotion of trying to tackle something like that almost seems impossible. You can't fake that. So Taylor, that's his bread and butter, man. It's getting his actors to be as authentic as possible, and that's what we did, which was so much fun.
What was the reaction for the premiere? Like I mentioned a few days ago.
Oh, dude, it was out of this world. I mean, the first of all, the Wynn Las Vegas rolled out the red carpet for us in every sense of the word. They just hooked it up and really took care of us, and we had. I think the theater itself held like 1,500 people, and it was chock full. We had fans all over the place, and it was just, the reaction was through the roof. And seeing it on a big screen, really, that was the first time I had seen it. I wanted to wait till the premiere, and it was more than I ever could have expected. And my biggest advice for anyone watching it is to find the biggest possible screen you can watch it on, because it's a massive Goliath of a show.
Awesome. So what's next for you now? Any other projects? You just taking some time off?
Well, we are still in the midst of filming, actually. So we've got hopefully we'll be wrapped up sometime in January, but so just kind of focused on the show. And in the meantime, I'm gonna enjoy the holidays as well. But Paramount's kind of got us on they got us locked down right now. So we're basically, we're in this Paramount world and for at least another few months. But it's been cool because they've also been throwing opportunities at me. I've got just got to work with Jefferson White from Yellowstone. Actually, we've got something coming out together, which I can't say what it is, but Paramount's been pretty great as far as getting us on other projects as well. Awesome. And they're kind of collaborating both worlds with different, Yellowstone actors and 1883 actors. So that's been fun.
That's awesome. Lastly, Eric, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media to keep up with you?
Instagram at Eric Nelsen Official. I love to interact with the fans on Instagram. Love posting pictures. Love hearing what you guys have to say, and look forward to hearing from you guys. So yeah, that'd be the best way.
Eric, man, this was great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, bro. Thanks so much for having me, man. Big fan of the show, and look forward to hopefully being back one day.
Thank you. Yeah.